All right, let's continue with our reading on page 254.
Friday, 30 June 1944. Dear Kitty, bad weather, or bad weather at a stretch to the 30th of June. Footnote. In English, in the original. Isn't that well said? Oh yes, I have a smattering of English already. Just to show that I can, I'm reading An Ideal Husband with the aid of a dictionary. War going wonderfully. Berboysk, Mogilev, and Orsa have fallen, lots of prisoners. Everything's all right here, and tempers are improving. The super-optimists are triumphing. Ellie has changed her hairstyle. Miep has the week off. That's the latest news. Yours, Anna. Thursday, 6 July 1944. Dear Kitty, it strikes fear to my heart when Pater talks of later being a criminal or of gambling. Although it's meant as a joke, of course, it gives me the feeling that he's afraid of his own weakness. Again and again I hear from both Margot and Pater, yes, if I was as strong and plucky as you are, if I always stuck to what I wanted, if I had such persistent energy, yes, then I wonder if it's really a good quality not to let myself be influenced. Is it really good to follow almost entirely my own conscience? Quite honestly, I can't imagine how anyone can say, I'm weak, and then remain so. After all, if you know it, why not fight against it? Why not try to train your character? The answer was, because it's so much easier not to. This reply rather discouraged me. Easy. Does that mean that a lazy, deceitful lie is an easy life? No, that can't be true. It mustn't be true. People can so easily be tempted by slackness and by money. I thought for a long time about the best answer to give Pater, how to get him to believe in himself, and above all, to try and improve himself. I don't know whether my line of thought is right, though, or not. I've so often thought how lovely it would be to have someone's complete confidence. But now that I'm that far, I realize how difficult it is to think what the other person is thinking and then to find the right answer. More especially because the very ideas of easy and money are something entirely foreign and new to me. Pater's beginning to lean on me a bit, and that mustn't happen under any circumstances. A type like Pater finds it difficult to stand on his own feet, but it's even harder to stand on your own feet as a conscious, living being. Because if you do, then it's twice as difficult to steer a right path through the sea of problems, and still remain constant through it all. I'm just drifting around, have been searching for days, searching for a good argument against that terrible word easy, something to settle it once and for all. How can I make it clear to him that what appears easy and attractive will drag him down into the depths where there is no comfort to be found, no friends and no beauty, depths from which it is almost impossible to raise oneself. We all live, but we don't know the why or the wherefore. We all live with the object of being happy. Our lives are all different, and yet the same. We three have been brought up in good circles. We have the chance to learn, the possibility of attaining something. We have all reason to hope for much happiness, but we must earn it for ourselves. And that is never easy. You must work and do good, not be lazy and gamble if you wish to earn happiness. Laziness may appear attractive, but work gives satisfaction. I can't understand people who don't like work. Yet that isn't the case with Pater. He just hasn't got a fixed goal to aim at, and he thinks he's too stupid and too inferior to achieve anything. Poor boy. He's never known what it feels like to make other people happy, and I can't teach him that either. He has no religion, scoffs at Jesus Christ, and swears using the name of God. Although I'm not orthodox either, it hurts me every time I see how deserted, how scornful, and how poor he really is. People who have a religion should be glad, for not everyone has the gift of believing in heavenly things. You don't necessarily even have to be afraid of punishment after death. Purgatory, hell, and heaven are things that a lot of people can't accept. But still, a religion, it doesn't matter which, keeps a person on the right path. It isn't the fear of God, but the upholding of one's honor and conscience. How noble and good everyone could be if every evening before falling asleep they were to recall to their minds the events of the whole day and consider exactly what has been good and bad. Then, without realizing it, you try to improve yourself at the start of each new day. Of course, you achieve quite a lot in the course of time. Anyone can do this. It costs nothing and is certainly very helpful. Whoever doesn't know it must learn and find by experience that a quiet conscience makes one strong. Yours, Anna.
Anne has very high standards of one's character, and she just doesn't understand or appreciate Peter's lazy attitude. And Margot and him will say it's not as easy for them because they're not as steadfast in their character as Anne is. And this is where one of our answers is, what is Peter lacking, or who's lacking religion, excuse me? It's Peter. He is Jewish by descent and nationality, but he's not religious, definitely. And Anne isn't Orthodox either. They don't follow all of the Jewish traditions, as we've seen through the diary. She mentions a couple, but she's not consistent. But she does believe in God. She does believe in him as the creator, and that she's one of God's people. But Peter does not, and that really bothers her. All right, let's continue.
Saturday, 8 July 1944. Dear Kitty, the chief representative of the business, Mr. B., has been in Beverwijk and managed just like that to get strawberries at the auction sale. Footnote. It is compulsory in Holland for all growers to sell their produce at public auction. End footnote. They arrived here dusty, covered with sand, but in large quantities. No less than 24 trays for the office people and us. That very same evening we bottled 6 jars and made 8 pots of jam. The next morning Miep wanted to make jam for the office people. At 12:30, no strangers in the house, front door bolted, trays fetched, Peter, Daddy, Van Don clattering on the stairs. Anna, get hot water. Margot, bring a bucket. All hands on deck. I went into the kitchen, which was chock full, with a queer feeling in my tummy. Miep, Ellie, Coupuis, Hank, Daddy, Peter, the families in hiding and their supply column all mingling together, and in the middle of the day, too. People can't see in from outside because of the net curtains, but even so, the loud voices and banging doors positively gave me the jitters. Are we really supposed to be in hiding? That's what flashed through my mind, and it gives me a very queer feeling to be able to appear in the world again. The pan was full, and I dashed upstairs again. The rest of the family was seated round our table in the kitchen, busy stalk picking. At least that's what they were supposed to be doing. More went into mouths than into buckets. Another bucket would soon be required. Peter went to the downstairs kitchen again. The bell rang twice. The bucket stayed where it was. Peter tore upstairs, locked the cupboard door. We were kicking our heels impatiently, couldn't turn on a tap, even though the strawberries were only half washed. The rule, if anyone in the house used no water because of the noise, was strictly maintained. At 1 o'clock, Hank came and told us that it was a postman. Peter hurried downstairs again. Ting-a-ling, the bell, right about turn. I go and listen to see if I can hear anyone coming, first at our cupboard door, and then creep to the top of the stairs. Finally, Peter and I both lean over the banisters like a couple of thieves, listening to the din downstairs. No strange voices. Peter sneaks down, stops halfway, and calls out, "Ellie?" No answer. One more. "Ellie!" Peter's voice is drowned by the din in the kitchen. He goes right down and into the kitchen. I stand looking down tensely. "Get upstairs at once, Peter. The accountant is here. Clear out." It was Coupuis speaking. Peter comes upstairs sighing. The cupboard door closes. Finally, Crawler arrives at 1:30. Oh, dearie me. I see nothing but strawberries. Strawberries at breakfast, strawberries stewed by Miep. I smell strawberries. Must have a rest for them and go upstairs. What is being washed up here? Strawberries. The remainder are being bottled. In the evening, 2 jars unsealed. Daddy quickly makes them into jam. The next morning, 2 more unsealed, and 4 in the afternoon. Van Don hadn't brought them to the right temperature for sterilizing. Now Daddy makes jam every evening. We eat strawberries with our porridge, skimmed milk with strawberries, bread and butter with strawberries, strawberries for dessert, strawberries with sugar, strawberries with sand. For 2 whole days, strawberries and nothing but strawberries. Then the supply was finished, or in bottles and under lock and key. "I say, Anna," Margot calls out, "the greengrocer on the corner has let us have some green peas, 19 pounds. "That's nice of him," I replied. "And it certainly is, but oh, the work. Ugh." "You've all got to help shelling peas on Saturday morning," Mummy announced when we were at table. And sure enough, the big enamel pan duly appeared this morning, filled to the brim. Shelling peas is a boring job, but you ought to try skinning the pods. I don't think many people realize how soft and tasty the pod is when the skin on the inside has been removed. However, an even greater advantage is that the quantity which can be eaten is about triple the amount of when one only eats the peas. It's an exceptionally precise, finicky job, pulling out this skin. Perhaps it's all right for pedantic dentists or precise office workers, but for an impatient teenager like me, it's frightful. We began at 9:30. I got up at 10:30. At 11:30, I sat down again. This refrain hummed in my ears. "Bend the top, pull the skin, remove the string, throw out the pod, etc., etc." They danced before my eyes. Green, green, green maggots, strings, rotten pods, green, green, green. Just for the sake of doing something, I chatter the whole morning. Any nonsense that comes into my head, make everyone laugh and bore them stiff. But every string that I pull makes me feel more certain that I never, never want to be just a housewife only. We finally have breakfast at 12 o'clock, but from 12:30 until 1:15, we've got to go skinning pods again. I'm just about seasick when I stop. The others a bit too. I go and sleep till 4 o'clock, but I'm still upset by those wretched peas. Yours, Anna. Saturday, 15 July.
And we're going to stop right there, and we'll continue with our reading on Monday. We only have 2 more days left of reading until they are found. We will continue with the afterword when we finish the book, but we're getting close, you guys, so I will see you on Monday.